SpaceX, and what is SpaceX? SpaceX is essentially a company that focuses on launching rockets into space and outer orbit. And as you know, they have recently launched a few astronauts who, at this time, right now on 4/5/2026, are on their way to loop over the other side of the moon. I believe they're not going to do a lunar landing, but they're going to loop over the other side of the moon, and that's really exciting. It's just a shame that, and again, I'm going off a little bit here. It's just a shame we haven't actually done a lunar landing where you're actually landing on the moon, taking rocks, and having somebody there since the early 70s. I think it's 71 or 72. Don't quote me on that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that was the year. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
70,
Yeah, we
76.
did a bunch of lunar landings, back in the day, and it's unfortunate because we have a large population of people, myself and you included. I know I'm kind of giving away your age, Jill, and you're not. I know you were born after 1969, and you didn't,
Yes.
or in the 70s. I hope. So yeah, you have a whole thing, but this is about investing. This is about IPO. So when SpaceX is now private, right? And they're making an IPO. Elon Musk owns it, and they're going to do an IPO of this company sometime
Elon
in.
Musk and others, obviously, not solely him.
Right, right. He's going to be the CEO. Pardon me. Elon Musk or others are going to take this company public. In the rumor and innuendo is it'll be sometime in the summer, but these things, don't quote me on it. These things sometimes get pushed back, and this has got me a little bit exciting because we'll start broad and then work our way in. You know, Dill and I were talking that human beings have always been an adventurous species ever since we came out of Africa. We've always wanted to explore, and then we, spread out from Africa to.
Wait, we're all from black people?
We're not going there.
Just kidding.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
kidding. Just kidding.
We're not going.
Sorry.
That's not the type of podcast.
Carry on.
I gotta laugh. I gotta laugh. Yeah, we're all a little. We got okay. Out of Africa theory, where if you believe that, we all originate in Africa.
That's what the evidence suggests. So
yeah. And we all spread out, and human beings have always been adventurous creatures spreading out. We spread out to Europe, and Christopher Columbus sails America, discovers the Americas, and we come up here in America in general, the real America. United States of America, obviously there were natives living here, but for a large percentage of them were coming from other lands here. And that was through boating technology. It was through ingenuity in
risk taking.
What's that?
Risk taking.
Risk and huge
taking risk.
Especially the Mayflows, because I think there was a famous saying, burn the ships. Once you were here, that was it. You know what I mean? You wanted to stay and have your community and go. So basically, that's a long story that human beings have always wanted to go. Now, where does this come up with SpaceX? SpaceX was essentially launched by Elon Musk as a separate entity from Tesla, etc. And they were doing first, what they were doing is they were doing launching satellites, right? Launching satellites in the kind of the outer orbit. And they were able to do that before when NASA retired one of their last ships in, I think it was like 2011 or so. SpaceX was a private company, obviously, and their main goal was to make space exploration, outer space, significantly cheaper. And they've been able to do that better than other companies like Virgin Galactic tried to do space. But anytime the government tried to give them contracts, etc., it was either too expensive or they failed. SpaceX found a way to be cheaper, like anything, and less expensive and successful. Their launches were extremely successful. I think if I remember a story, Elon Musk said he had almost everything on the line for the company for their first launches to go out into space. It worked, everybody clapped, and that was kind of the start of the company.
Well, that's a fast forward. He had enough money for 3 launches. The 3 launches failed. He scraped together money, and launch 4 was successful. That's the dirty details.
The dirty details, yeah. But
he blew all his money in the first 2 launches.
He did, yeah. Okay, the first actual
that failed.
Was a failure. But then he ended up getting better and better and better, and then obviously getting the success. So with its IPO coming up in June, why is SpaceX important? Well, with SpaceX, they're tied amongst a lot of current entities.
Well, this is the bull case. This is the why you
bull
should
case.
buy it, right?
The bull case. The
The
bull
pitch.
case is why you want to buy, which now rumor and innuendo is that the stock is not going to be cheap. It's going to be the largest IPO ever launched. So you're going to look in the hundreds of dollars for specific stock. Now, if you want to buy portions of stock, you can. You don't have to buy the full stock, but we're looking at between $650 and $750, right?
Per share.
Per share.
Total of valuation of 2 trillion.
Exactly. Total valuation of 2 trillion. Now, one thing that is very interesting about this stock is in normal IPOs, from my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dylan, normal IPOs only do about 5 to 10% retail. Is that right or wrong normally?
I've heard 10 to 20%, but I mean, I don't, I have to look at the numbers.
Okay, we'll look at the numbers, but let's call it about 10. Let's call it about 10%.
Sure.
This is because Elon Musk is kind of an eccentric guy, and he's also very much into retail investing and investors, and he has a strong pulse kind of on it. He's wanting to open this a lot more up to retail, the IPO. Now, you don't have to buy the IPO, obviously. I could say
I will not be buying the IPO, just to be clear.
He's not gonna Dylan's not gonna be buying the IPO. But I assuming it's a decent price, he'll probably be buying the IPO within the launch or within a day or two of the launch. Now, first of all, is SpaceX profitable as it is? Yes, it is. Right now, oh yeah. Recent reports are that their Starlink program is, which does puts all those satellites up into orbit and the internet, generated $13 billion in revenue, and see,
what time frame
about
is that?
10 billion and about 10 billion. Let me just make sure I got this right before I say it. About 10 billion in profit. Okay. So
wait. Let me make sure I understand. So this is for the last year, I'm assuming?
2024, SpaceX generated 13.1 billion in revenue, up from 2023.
And what's last year's numbers?
Pardon me?
What's last year's numbers?
That was 2024. I'm sorry, that was 2024. 2023 was 8.2 billion.
What's 2025?
Let's see. Hold on.
What's the growth? I see their ads.
$15.5.
Okay.
Oh, 2025. Yeah, roughly 15.5.
Okay. So like sort of slower growth than I thought. I thought they had pretty rapid growth. I mean, I know they're cheaper than what I'm using now, so I was thinking about switching myself. So I know that other people are thinking about switching too. They just lowered their price from 39 to 35.
Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm seeing based on the ads. I haven't actually paid for it, so.
Well, anyway, back to what I'm saying. So the theory and thesis for me is that they are obviously profitable. That's number one. They're obviously going to have a strong moat of being able to do the space launches. For right now, I'm not saying other people will follow them, but for right now, cheaply, safely, and the other space companies like Amazon actually need them to launch their satellites too, and they're in cahoots, for lack of a better word, with them. And then if you compare to history, I look at it like this. I look at it like going back to the beginning. Space is kind of the final. I know, kind of quoting Star Trek. It's kind of the final frontier on going out there and going outer space. So, like the Wright brothers ended up eventually merging and becoming a company. What is CE? Hold on. What did
I don't know. You quoted me. I don't know any what this company they created.
Merged. So into so when the Wright brothers end up going into flight, see Curtis, right? Yeah. when the Wright brothers first ended up going into flight, the issue with it was you didn't have any infrastructure with it, and it was an absolutely huge risk, right? But you look at today, where I'm actually going to be hopping onto a plane soon. The airline actually, and this is probably kind of against what my point is, that the airline industry wasn't profitable for a long time and did, as a whole, and did end up being profitable. However, just because SpaceX is what it is today doesn't necessarily mean it may not morph into something else into the future. We don't know. But my thesis is this, is that they're in with the government. Their launches are doing well. There are, so far, I'm not going to say the only game in town. They're profitable. That's number two. They're headed by a CEO who's obviously extremely driven and successful, right? Which could be a negative. That's potentially something happens.
Debatable,
Something
yeah.
happens to him.
Certainly not like all bad, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, he's not all bad.
No.
And obviously very eccentric, and who knows, you know what I mean? And look, there are definitely risks with this. If there's something that happens with like the Challenger accident, which happened in the 80s, where something blows up, obviously their stock is going to go down. It's a little bit different than AI in the fact that you only have so many rocket scientists in the world, far less, I would imagine, than what you have of AI scientists or anything else. It's very, very difficult to find that type of brain power, for lack of a better word. And if you really believe what the end goal is, they may want to colonize Mars or the moon. You know, it sounds kind of out there right now, but again, he probably was out there when people were saying the world was round when they thought it was flat, right? Probably over our lifetimes. So, yeah, that's it. You know, that's it. I mean, at what price target? This is going to be probably a very nominal position. I'm going to make another video to know how much I'm going to be buying, and when I do buy, I do think it's the future. There is some speculation. There's obviously some risk involved, right? You know, obviously I told you the guys the risk about launches, etc. The risk of maybe somebody catches up to them. I don't think that's going to happen soon, though. I don't see any other rocket company doing what they're doing. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. The Department of Defense is also, the U.S. at least, and other governments kind of depend on them for their space programs too. So the chances of them going out of business, you know what I mean, are so. It's not like NASA where it's completely funded with taxpayer money, right? So yeah, that's kind of like the low ended what I think about it. Dylan, what's your opinion on what I said?
Yeah, first I want to ask you some questions. So let's say
Sure.
that it IPOs at 700 a share and you buy it, and or say it IPOs at 700, it dips down to 600, and you make a more major purchase. What would you be looking at? You would be looking at like just buying and holding, waiting till they pay dividends, getting out at a good price,
Great question.
like
For me,
bragging rights. Like what's your exit strategy?
for an IPO of that size, buy and hold forever. I would never exit until they go, and unless they go out of business. So it'd be like another Exxon.
Oh, so you would just be looking for a slow capital appreciation then, I guess?
Slow capital appreciation as the company grows, the stock grows. Something like, but oh, we mentioned it off camera. Something like Facebook, right? Facebook opened up at 24 to big hoopla.
Hoo-ha.
It ended up going down from its IPO in the teens. I know this for a fact because I was looking at it before I was investing, and now that stock is what, 600, so
Yeah, it's gone up like
hundreds.
30 bagger. Yeah, yeah, 20 bagger.
It's got hundreds of dollars. So I see that as almost kind of that play, but even better because, you know, Facebook had like MySpace and other technology. I mean, yes,
Yeah, it's
I
hard to
can't
it's
say
hard
they
to
don't have
argue
to.
that Facebook is going to be the most successful because anyone can start a social network. This is like tomato
Yeah,
tomato.
Yeah, yeah. And look, I'm not saying they don't have competition. I'm not saying they have a monopoly. Really, they don't. They're just doing what they really do. They're doing what they're doing really well, and they're profitable at it right now. Right.
You talking
So
about SpaceX or Facebook?
SpaceX. Oh well,
Okay.
well, yeah, Facebook's profitable too. But I mean, that's the that's already kind of left the house. You know. So yeah, that would be my thing
Anymore.
is, and as it goes down, if it goes down for whatever reason, again, it depends on why it goes down, right? Was there an accident? Is there a different CEO? I'd have to reassess why the market is repricing it before I jump into anything. But right now, they're not even technically public right now. I think they applied for the IPO last week, and yeah, that's kind of where I'm going at this. I'd see this as like again another Boeing or what other things, something that has a really strong. It's going to be a very difficult barrier for them.
Coca-Cola?
Well, they got Pepsi. You know what I mean? And Pepsi and Coke are just like, but that's kind of like a duopoly, don't you think? Pepsi, Coke.
Yeah, kind of. But I know Warren Buffett bought 50 years ago and he's never sold. So it's like,
Yeah, well, that's my plan. Yeah, that would be
yeah.
kind of that would be kind of the plan. Is you're
Or like
getting
like your late father when he bought Apple and it just kept
it
going.
just yeah he just held it. And by the way, might I add this is that you don't have to always do these sexy technology stocks. If you look at the last 20 years, you look at Domino's Pizza, I think it's performed just as well as Apple. If you were to buy
Yeah.
Domino's
I know
Pizza,
Domino's. I heard about that. I didn't
you heard about
actually
that? Yeah,
chart.
yeah.
Yeah, I
So
heard it was a
okay,
chart, but yeah, it's had a great performance. And some random stocks when you look at, they're like the best performing stocks for the year, and you're like, I never even heard about this company. It's like Postmaster, whatever, and it was like the best stock of 2023, and I'm like, what? Those guys that advertise it to replace, like, you don't mail to the post office, like what the?
yeah,
Yeah, these guys are wild.
yeah. And that's the thing is that like it doesn't necessarily have to be a stock you that needs to be complicated. I mean, Domino's Pizza is just pizza. Like it's just pizza. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. I mean, it's pizza, but like the good thing about it is, of course, people love pizza, and that's not likely to change anytime soon.
yeah, yeah. I mean, look, it could. You know what I mean? Like Domino's is kicking Papa John's ass right now, right? I don't know. I'm not invested. By the way, I'm not invested in any of these two stocks.
Yeah, me
There's a
neither.
reason behind Domino's doing it. I think again, from what little reading I'm doing, Domino's is kicking Papa John's ass because Um, they're doing that 9.99 deal for any topping, any whatever. People try to copy them. They're the first entry there, and their ordering system online is just so darn easy that you don't got to call in. It's not like you don't got to call in or anything. And their promotions, they keep on doing like promotional activity. So part of the reason why they're doing good is just they're innovating more. They're doing more innovating. So innovation can happen even with the most simplest things that can make companies profitable.
Makes sense.
So for me, look, it's one of those things, Dylan, where am I going to get like super excited over it?
You gonna get Summit returns, or are you just gonna get like slow growth?
Hey, you want to dovetail into Summit?
Just kidding. Yeah,
You
sure. We can
can.
definitely
You,
do the
you
summit. But
can.
yeah, I just wanted to one more question on that. So
What?
like, what would be your estimation? Like, if I probably put a gun to your head, what would be like your base case scenario for the price? Like, what's your expectations? Are you expecting like a Tesla, like a, or are you expecting more of like a Exxon Mobil? Like, what's your base case on that?
That's an excellent question because I'm going to look at I think it's going to go very, you know what? This is a great question. Remember, they've got different Artemis launches. Hold on one second. There's, for you guys who don't know, we're on like Artemis 1. No, Artemis 2 was last night and they're going around the moon. If you look at the Artemis program here, the space program has us actually having somebody walk on the moon, right, within a certain time frame. I want to say it's 2028, but I want
That's what I
to.
remember the date on too as
You
well. Yeah.
you remember the date? Yeah, I want to
Well,
say it's
that just off the top of my head, reading like a little news clip, like 2028, there's expected to be someone to land on the south end where there's the water.
yeah. There it is. Yeah, targeted 2020. That's it exactly. Early 2028 is Artemis 5. So late 2028. And I can imagine that stock is going, yeah, there you go. There's your time frame. That stock by that date, assuming the date stands, that's going to be probably be pushed back. You know what I mean? Probably. But by 2028, I would say that stock, no question, doubles.
Really? Oh,
No, I would say almost no
just from
question.
all the
Okay.
hype on that. Landing
So,
on the moon again.
oh, man, there's going to be so much hype on it. People are going to be in it. You know, people are going to be like, oh, yeah, yeah, whatever. But
Become a
again,
meme stock.
it's risky though, because the thing is, what if something like Challenger disaster happens?
Yeah, yeah.
It blows up and a bunch of
What
people
chance of success do you think you would give it?
at that time, hard to say. It's so far away, Dylan. You know what I mean?
Well, like
I would say
roughly,
high.
is this a coin flip for you? Is this a 90% odds you get a good return? Is this a
Oh, good question.
75%? What sort of range are we talking in
I'm
your
gonna
head?
say an 80% success rate on this only because it's gonna be, like I said, the largest IPO of all time, difficult barrier to entry. The person doing it obviously has high ambition. He's got him.
He's done a lot of successful things too. So like
Got a
he could
lot of
probably get this
successful
done too.
things. He's tied in with the government. He's profitable, right? His companies. I keep on saying he. Elon Musk. Elon Musk companies tend to be pretty profitable, or eventually get pretty profitable. Um, and I trust that people do know what he's doing. So all that, and don't forget, I didn't even really mention about this. I got about 7 or 8 minutes. I'll give you a little bit of time there. Um, is that they're also doing satellite launches on top of that and things like that. So it's not like it's just lunar missions and hey, pie in the sky, let's get here. There are goals to this. So go ahead, Dylan. I'm going to give you the last like 8 minutes. You can talk about whatever you want or more questions if you want.
Sure, sure. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna say, in terms of me, I think it's about a 75% chance of doing really well, just from Elon's track record and the hype factor and everything. Depends on this the now since they're IPOing at 2 trillion, you're like, was the company gonna go to 10 trillion in a year? Like, I don't know. It seems a little bit, challenging. Obviously, you can have a sort of meme stock phenomena where it's just sort of a retail takeover of a stock. So I don't know. I would say 75, but depends on the valuation. If the valuation is actually 2 trillion, I would say my chances of going, I would say my my estimates of the success rate would go down to probably about 60%, just based off of the information we have. Tesla, PayPal, moon hype, meme stock, all that sort of stuff. But plenty of downsides as well. Government funding cuts, blah blah blah, all this sort of stuff. So, anyways, yeah, I don't really have anything to add except that's not a company that I'm super familiar with that I feel comfortable putting position in all that. So I will not be participating, and that's fine. Obviously we buy different companies, and that's all good. And yeah, I mean the best man win.
Yeah,
Just
definitely. I mean, and I also have to add, they have a reusable. They're trying to work on a reusable rocket, so that the rocket just doesn't get floated into space or just get thrown on the trash once you use it to also save more money. Um,
I mean, they had
it's
reusable for a
called
while. You referring to a reusable like
no,
Artemis?
it's called no, it's a bigger it's a bigger one. It could be called the Falcon 9. Uh, but yeah, they've been. This is why they're innovating and they're doing things, cheaply. Now that doesn't mean there may not be any mistakes. It doesn't mean that there may not be any political mistakes or whatever with launches, etc. Space is still fairly dangerous, but yeah. Um,
Is there patent protection, Gino, on their stuff, or is mainly the sort of barrier to entry of expertise?
I think, oh yeah, yeah, the barrier to entry, that's a great thing you mentioned. The barrier to entry is probably going to be the employees and being like, I forget if I mentioned this on camera or not, but the rocket scientists,
You did mention
um,
that. Yeah, there's not many of them.
there's
Yeah.
not many of them. In fact, I'm going to ask AI, how many rocket scientists?
Well, but to be clear about rocket, like people will have degrees
Yeah,
in something with rocket science. Yeah.
atmospheric and space scientists was only 14,000 people
That are alive right now?
in 2023.
Oh, they graduated per year.
Mm, it's workforce, especially in the workforce. So that's probably going to increase, obviously, but that's not
Yeah.
very much.
We're gonna go
That's not
to
very much at
that now,
all.
obviously.
Yeah, that's not very much at all, man. But yeah, so
Yeah, compare them to the AI people that graduated last year.
oh, wow. Yeah, it's
You
astronomical.
what,
So
500,000 AI engineers last year?
oh gosh, something like that. I mean, they're gonna go where the money
Money is
is.
where the hype is. Yeah.
In fact, we could do a podcast on that one at a time with the dangers of AI and why not to or to go into AI. We can save that for another time. But
Mhm.
um, but yeah, yeah. So yeah, Dylan, go ahead. Do it. You got the floor if you want to talk about any of one of your stocks. We don't have much time left. We got about 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I am not, I like to do, higher probability bets in my estimation than a SpaceX or whatever. So I'm more of a Walmart, more of a sort of Buffett, like, buy Gillette, buy, fruit trees, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be eating fruit in the next 10 years off my tree. So I think that's a safe bet. Will, SpaceX be around in 10 years? I don't know. I'm not really, I don't really see that as a high probability thing. But that could be, just my lack of just knowledge in the space. Obviously it could be, phenomenally successful. So I wouldn't have bought the Facebook IPO stock because like anybody could have copied them. And SpaceX is way more of a barrier to entry than Facebook, and Facebook's done phenomenal, obviously. So, for someone who's smart enough to figure that out and stuff, kudos to them. I just stick to so I'm doing the biotech, very volatile. So my Summit, my Calcimimetica, my Context Therapeutics, another one I'm looking at. So yeah, I mean I've done well with them. I feel like the market misprices them, and yeah, nothing, no real news update there. I mean, I'm always looking at the Summit. That's my little baby. So it's made us a lot of money so far, and though I have sold my position, so I'm all cash right now, looking for a better entry. So yeah, I mean nothing really crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
by the way,
Anything to throw in there?
I fumble a little bit at the beginning. Curtis Wright company is still existing in the Curtis Wright Corp, which does aerodynamics, etc. And that stock still exists today. Oh,
Oh,
well
okay.
over 100 years, or well over 100 years. That stock is the last 5 years has gone up 456%.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay, and that was started by the Wright brothers.
way well, it morphed into different companies. You know what I mean? And then I think it went public. When did it go public? Let's see. Oh my God. CW it's been listed for 95 years.
Public company for
It's one of the
95 years.
oldest companies. Yeah, it's one of the old. So yeah, okay, there you go, audience. I am basically investing in the Curtis Wright company. I see this as a Curtis Wright company of today.
Okay, cool. You think you would
There
have
you
made
go.
good money if you? Well, you said it did 456% in the last 10 years or 5 years. What was that?
Let me see. CW. Yeah, Curtis Wright stock the last 5 years has gone up 456%.
That's a phenomenal return, and this is like 100 years after it was started. So
Yeah,
there you go.
that stock.
I know he would have done from the beginning.
Yeah, look at this. That stock back in 2012 was $34, and now it's $694.
There you go.
So in 13 years, you talk about 10 baggers or whatever. There's your 10 bagger, and it's been around for hundred years, or
Yeah,
95 years, whatever.
nice. Okay, cool. Well, I think we're running out of time, so that's all I got for today.
That's all you got for today. Okay.